say prolific rapper? That's fucking funny, man. Listen, I gotta tell, I started out as a rapper. That part is true. But I did this show called Club MTV. Anyone remember Club MTV? Yeah. It was hosted by a gal named Downtown Julie Brown. Yeah. 1991, man, I did that show and I came off and I was on this big high. And my record company is like, it's about to happen for you, Jesse. You're gonna get a ton of publicity. And they whisked me to Pittsburgh to do my first concert ever. And I get off the airplane in Pittsburgh, and on this magazine rack, right when I got out of the airplane, are all these magazines, and I like, out of the corner of my eye, it looks familiar, I look over, and I am on the cover of a magazine called Rap Pages. That's like the equivalent of an entrepreneur being on the cover of Forbes. I'm like, I'm on the cover of Rap Pages? How could they not tell me? Like, nobody even called me. It's amazing. So I grabbed like all the copies in the magazine. There were like 50 copies. I took them all. I'm sending them to my mother, my grandmother. Everyone's getting a copy because I'm on the cover of Rap Pages. So I'm on the line to buy the magazines, and I look at the cover. I'm excited to read it. And I look at the cover, and plastered over my face, it said, "Are white rappers ruining hip-hop?" What did he say? A prolific rapper? I appreciate that introduction. I want to share a quick story before we start. I haven't shared this story. I think I told it once in my life, and it just popped in my head when Jared said Zico, and I'm in Miami. But I had a coconut water company called Zico, and my partner and I sold it to Coca-Cola. Actually, my partner, and indirectly me, just bought it back 2 weeks ago. But the backstory, from Coke. The backstory is insane. So I was in Miami. This is like 15 years ago, a younger me. And I was at Matt Damon's house, a friend of mine. And Matt's like, do you want to stay overnight? Stay overnight tonight. And I'm like, I wish I could, but I'm going to Brazil tomorrow. He's like, Brazil? What's in Brazil? I said, I'm going to start a coconut water company. He's like, coconut water? I love coconut water. I have a coconut tree in my backyard, and I get a coconut and I drink out of it. He said, if anything happens, keep me updated. Like, that's pretty excited. I'm like, Matt, I'll keep you updated. About a month later, I find myself in the office of Coca-Cola pitching my product, Coco Plus, to the president of Coke. And the meeting is lukewarm at best. Like, I got to change the vibration. So I don't know how this popped in my head, but I said to the president of Coke, I'm like, well, my partner, Matt Damon, and I. The president of Coke goes like this, like in the cartoons, they're like, whoosh, 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 whoosh. He's like, what? Matt Damon? I love Matt Damon. He's like, my daughter loves Matt Damon. I'm like, he's like, Matt Damon's your partner? I'm like, Matty? Yeah, Matty is my partner. Working on this thing for years, man. And the whole meeting flips. So we get to the 1 yard line, basically, of a deal with Coke. I call Matt. I'm like, Matt, I need a really big favor, man. I'm like, do you have a camera at your house? I'm like, Jesse, of course he has a camera. The guy won like Oscars. He's got a movie camera at his house. I'm like, I got to get this idea across to Coke. We came up with this. I said, you know that coconut water, that coconut tree outside in your backyard? He's like, yeah. I'm like, can you grab a machete, climb up the tree, yank down the coconut, cut it open, make sure they film you, walk it all the way to your house, get all sweaty, slice it in half, put a straw in it, give it to your daughter, turn to the camera and say, Muhtar, the CEO of Coke, there's got to be a better way than this. Matt goes, all right. He does this Oscar award-winning thing. I hit send, checkmate.